going inside for a moment, placing your hands, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, and starting to breathe. Smooth breaths. We're not trying to alter our breath here, just inhaling nose, chest, belly, exhaling belly, chest, nose. I want to grab some tennis balls in there. And as you're breathing and noticing how your breath feels in your body, thinking about how you want to feel after practice, so setting your intention. And then when you've set your intention, releasing your hands, opening up your eyes, and we're going to start with some tennis balls. And so I'm going to invite you to take them. So you're going to start with your knees bent and your butt stays on the ground. And you're going to push the tennis ball towards your sit bones, right? But you're not going to sit on them because that would not feel good. And then we're going to slowly move front to back or side to side, right? So what we're trying to do is loosen up those hamstrings that connect with the pelvis, right? So as you're doing, and you're kind of moving your pelvis front to back or side to side, you can do that by moving your knees or moving your pelvis or both. And it might feel like stretched rubber bands going over those, but as we're doing this, again, we don't want it to hurt. All right, now, as you're doing that, some of you will stay there, some will want to move the tennis balls out a little bit and then do the same thing. Straighten your legs a little bit, move the pelvis, move your knees. So welcome everyone. And I know for some of the people new to me, you might not be used to using tennis balls. So I like it as a nice warm-up for when we start to do bigger muscles. Now we're going to take those tennis balls and you're going to put that, so now butt's on the ground, you're going to tilt to one side, we're going to the side of the pelvis. So for some of us, there's a lot of tension here, so just being really careful. And so here, again, you can move your knees side to side, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can come over to one side and maybe have your elbow on the block or your hand on the floor, and you use your body pressing your feet or your hand into the ground to control how much weight goes into that tennis ball. And some people like to remain stationary, some people like to move a little bit. And you might be thinking, you know, soften. Isn't this wonderful? Now, if you're doing side to side, you're going to continue to do that. If you're doing one side at a time, we're going to switch to the second side. And you're still breathing, and you're just noticing what's happening in your body. Now, as with everything that we do, some of you may want to stay here a little bit longer. I'm going to move to the low back, and you can move with me. Or you can continue doing your glutes a little bit more. Now here, your butt's on the ground, you're going to lean forward. We're going to take the tennis balls and place them to the back of the pelvis, and then start to gently move your body into them, and noticing if there's any sensation. So we don't want it to hurt. You're supporting yourself with your hands or your elbows, depending on how far you want to come down. And again, we're going to move side to side or front to back. And you don't want to go too far, right? You don't want it to hurt. So if you do start to feel sensation, I invite you to back off a little bit. Now, most of you know, but some of you don't. I recently had surgery, so there are some things that I cannot do. So sometimes during the practice, I may be giving you verbal instruction and not doing what I'm saying, and so don't be thrown by that. Use your ears today. So we get to practice using other skills. All right, so we're going to take those tennis balls out and put them into a safe place. And then I just want you to stretch out your right leg, and we're gonna bend the left knee and ankle and hold on to that leg, and just, you know, whatever pace works for you, you're gonna keep breathing and just move that leg side to side. And then when you feel complete, we're gonna straighten out that leg and do the second side. And again, keeping that foot flexed, and you're just holding wherever it feels comfortable, the ankle, the foot, the knee, moving side to side. So again, when you start to feel complete with that, we're gonna take that foot down to the ground. We're gonna bend both knees, and you're gonna bring your knees and ankles as close together as it's comfortable. Your hands are down at your side. Inhale, we're gonna take the arms up, open the knees out. Exhale, arms down, knees together. And your feet are as close or as far away from your body as they need to be for you to move comfortably. Inhale is opening, exhale is when you come back to the center. You're just kind of noticing, like, how's your breathing as you do this? Inhale up, exhale down. One more time. And when we bring the hands down this time, we're going to take them towards the back. Your knees are still bent, ankles and knees towards one another, and we're going to move the knees side to side. So inhale is going to be center. Exhale, you're going to take the knees to one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, second side. And you're moving with your breath, and you're moving as deeply as it feels good, right? All right. Now, if you remember, whenever you get to your second side, we're going to pause, and you're going to sit on up and stretch those legs out. And we're going to take the hands onto the thighs. So if, when you're sitting here, your shoulders kind of fall back, you might put a little blanket under your pelvis. We're going to take the hands onto the legs. Inhale, body up. Exhale, slide down over your legs. You're just going to move with your breath again. Inhale is up. Exhale, sliding down. And you're just noticing, you know, like, are we moving just through the head and the neck? Are we moving through our pelvis? What's happening in your body? Good morning. All right, next time we come up, we're going to take the legs a little bit wide, not as wide as you possibly can. And again, this time you're gonna have your hands on the floor, and we're gonna inhale, body up, exhale, slide forward. And think about coming forward with your heart instead of your head. So not this, right? But reaching your heart forward. And Cordelia, if you would come up a little bit, just because I can't see someone behind you. Okay. Thank you. Inhaling up, exhaling forward. All right. Now, next time you come up, we're gonna bring those legs together, and we're gonna come up to standing. So, find a safe way to get yourself standing up. And one more already. I don't know that any of you. All right, so here, find one tennis ball. We're gonna roll on the feet. And so when you're doing this, you want to touch as much of the bottom of the foot as you can, right? So getting the toes, the padded part under your toes, your heels, your arches, and you decide how much pressure you apply. This is one of my faves, right? Can't pretty much go through a day without doing this. And then we're gonna switch feet. If you decide that you like it and you're here in person, you're welcome to take some tennis balls home with you. So, all right. So again, getting all the parts of the feet to the best of your ability. And then we're going to place those tennis balls into a safe place so they don't get in our way. And you might make your way towards the front of your mat. And we're going to start with the feet about hip width apart. And you're going to do this movement with your breath. So we're going to start to come up onto the toes and take the arms forward. So the inhale is up, the exhale is down. And you're going to work your way up as high as your arms want to go today, right? So they might be up in line with your ears. It's one of the new movements for me. And if it doesn't feel good to come up onto your toes, it's absolutely okay to keep your feet flat. Now next time you come down, we're gonna take the arms out to the sides, and again, you can come up onto the toes, or you can keep your feet flat, and you're coming up as high as you want to, whatever feels good in your body today. We're gonna do one more after this. And in this next one, and you might start out with flat feet, or you might come up onto your toes. You're gonna take one arm forward, one arm back, and we're gonna alternate sides. And you're just trying to synchronize movements with the breath, the arms, the heels, and you're noticing how your balance is today. And one more time on each side, because I know those arms might be getting tired. At least mine are. All right, we're going to take the hands onto the thighs now. Your feet are still about hip width apart. We're going to inhale, body up, and exhale, start to slide down. And then inhale up, and exhale, slide down. And it's okay if your knees are bent. You're coming up and down as far as it feels comfortable. And you're moving with your breath. And you're checking out all that information, what's happening in your back body. Now, next time you come into your forward bend, we're going to stay down in our forward bend. You can either place your hands on the floor or on some blocks. You're going to step back with the right foot into a nice deep lunge. And you want that front knee over your ankle, and your feet are hip width apart and about a leg's distance lengthwise. You don't want your feet in a straight line. Now here, what I want you to do is you're going to start to flex through your foot. So you're going to lift up the toes and put them back down, right? Lift them up and put them down, which is a little bit of an awkward movement for some of us. Then we're going to keep that foot, the front of the foot down, and we're going to come up onto the toes, but don't let your knee come way over your foot. Not sure what's happening with my throat. So now you're lifting up the heel and bringing it back down. And what I'm wanting your foot to do is to get the idea of using the whole foot, the front of the foot and the back of the foot, right? And then you're going to take that foot flat on the ground, and we're going to keep our right hand down, take the left hand onto your thigh and start to bring your belly towards that inner thigh. Now you could keep pushing your left hand into the thigh, or you can start to reach it up towards the sky, whatever feels good in your body. And some of you might even bend that elbow and take your hand behind your back body. But it's an exploration, like what feels good. The chest is open, you're breathing. On one of your exhales, you're going to bring that hand down. We're going to turn back towards the ground. And we're going to step the back foot forward. And one more time, we're going to bring those hands onto the legs. Inhale, body up, halfway this time. Exhale, in towards your legs. And if your back is feeling tender, definitely keep a little bend in your knees. Now, next time you come into your full forward bend, we're going to take the hands onto the blocks of the floor, step back with the left foot. Get yourself all set up, right? Front knee over the ankle, feet hip width apart, you're breathing. And we're going to start by lifting up the toes of the right foot. And you're just kind of noticing what happens in your body when you do that. And then we'll take the front of the foot down and start to lift the heel. And again, just noticing. I get interesting sensations in places I might not think about when I do that. Now we're going to take that foot flat on the ground. Keep your left hand down on the floor. Take your right hand onto the thigh. Start to bring your belly towards that inner thigh. And again, some of you will take that right arm up towards the sky, keeping your chest open. Some of you might start to bend the elbow and take it behind your back body. But breathing and exploring. And as you start to feel exhale, you're going to bring your hand down, turn your body back towards the ground. We're going to take the hands onto the floor, and we're going to step back into a plank. I'm going to be on my knees because I can't put pressure on my shoulders. And you could also be on your knees too if you want, or you can have your knees off. From here, we're going to inhale in our plank or our tabletop, and exhale back to child's pose or down dog. Right, so you're going to choose, and you can even alternate between them. Inhale forward, exhale back. Now, next time you come to your plank or your tabletop, you're going to either hop your feet, actually from down dog or tabletop, you're going to step your feet forward. We're going to come into a forward bend. Take those hands onto your legs or in line with your ears. We're going to inhale all the way up and exhale those hands down to the heart center. And this is a great time to check in. You know, how's your temperature, your breathing, your heart rate, all right? And then we are going to find our strap. And we're going to hold it at shoulder height, and you're going to hold it at shoulder height and about shoulder distance apart. Is there anybody else doing this? And you're going to add a little tug on it. Right? So you're gently pulling your hands towards one another. If your hands get tired, take a break. And what we're going to do is you're going to take your weight into the right foot and lift up the left knee. Woo. If you start to lose your balance, you're going to pull on the strap, take that foot down, shift your weight, second side. One more time. Back to the first side, breathing, pulling on your strap, feeling that core engage. Foot down. We're going to give those arms a break. Just a second. And take that foot down, relax those arms. And for a few breaths, just inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, slide them down your back body. All right, and we're going to set the strap down for a moment because I want to do something else before we do more balancing. So your feet are about hip-width apart, and your arms are down at your sides. You're going to look at your left hand. And then with your breath, you're going to start to take that hand up. You're tracking the hand with your eyes. You're going to bring it back as far as it comes, your comfort level, and exhale back to center. And then alternate sides. So your eyes following your hand. Your inhale is up. Your exhale is back to center. And you're just noticing, you know, how does it feel in the low back, in the neck, in the shoulder. Now whenever you, again, finish that second side, we're going to come back to the center. You're going to find one of your blocks, and you're going to place it between your thighs. I don't want to hit anybody. Okay, you're going to place that block between your thighs and squeeze, not too hard. Did I miss anybody? All right, so you're squeezing in towards the center, right? Now, the first thing I want you to do, most of you have done this with me before, you're going to, as if you could move that block with your thighs, you're going to press into the center and try to push the block out, right? You're using your inner thighs to try to move that block forward. For any of you who remember Pez candy, you know, like think about when you lift the head and the little candy pops out. Now we're going to switch it and you're going to try to push the block back. So here, we're trying to connect with our inner thighs that don't necessarily get a whole lot of attention, right? Now you're going to come back to neutral. Hands can be on your thighs, or you can inhale them up and exhale them down. We're going to inhale up, come into a little chair. So ankles, knees, hips bend. Inhale up, exhale down. Let your hips bend in their natural way. So your butt doesn't stick way out, but it definitely will go back a little bit when you come down, depending on how your low back is doing today as well. Now this next time when we come down, you're gonna find your balance. We're gonna take those heels up off of the ground. And you could have your hands down on your thighs. If it doesn't feel good, to hold them out. And here, we're gonna gently take those heels down. Inhale as we're in this position. Exhale into a forward bend. And again, knees can be bent or straight. And here, we're gonna walk the hands over to the left side and reach your hips over to the right. And if your hands don't come to the ground, you're using, either you're up on your leg or you're using a block under your hands and you're breathing. Be sure to shift your hips away from the hands. You're going to come back through the center, second side. And again, your hands are over to one side, your hips are reaching over to the other side, you're breathing. And come back through the center. And this time we're in the center, we're still holding on to that block. Your hands are on the floor or a block. We're going to inhale, body up, exhale, bend your knees. Take your hands up onto your thighs or reach them out in front. And we're going to lift the heels up off the ground. Keep breathing. Beautiful. Heels down, inhale, come on up. Exhale those hands to your heart center. Take a breath. We're going to remove our block. We're going to find our friend the strap again. Everybody doing okay? I'm feeling really warm today. I don't know if it's me or the room. Oh, okay, so I'm not alone. All right, so we're going to take the weight into the left foot and place the strap around the padded part of your right foot. And you're going to, and feel free to use a wall, or if you're at home, a chair or something like that. We're going to walk the leg up to a place that's comfortable and walk your hand down the strap so your elbow's straight. Now your other hand is used for balance, right? Breathe and focus. Now we're going to cross the leg in front of the body. Come back to the center and then take it out to the side. Breathe and focus. Come back to the center. Cross over. Back to the center. Out one more time. Woo. Back to the center and down. Breathe. Then we're going to take those hands onto the side. So we're going to do the other side, but before that, I just want you to bring your hands onto your thighs. Inhale, body up. Exhale, slide into your forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. And then one or two more times into that forward bend. Inhaling halfway up. And then we're going to inhale all the way up. Make sure you're breathing. Sometimes when we do something new, we hold our breath. So I'm going to invite you to, no matter what, keep breathing. We're going to do the second side, so around the padded part of your left foot with the strap. And then we're going to start to walk that leg up. Walk your hand, woo, walk your hand down the strap. You need my friend, the wall. Okay, and again, when you're ready, we're going to cross in front over the body, come back to neutral, and then open out to the side. And you're just moving with your breath, finding your balance. It's helpful to have a non-moving spot on the floor to look at. One more time, crossing over, and then opening out, back to the center. Very nice. And then the foot comes down. We're going to get rid of the strap for a while. And we're going to take those hands onto the thighs one more time. So this gives us a chance to come back to ourselves after opening out and to help with the low back. So hands onto the thighs, inhale, body up. Exhale into your forward bend. And then inhale up and exhale down. And again, knees as bent as is comfortable for your body. Now next time you inhale, let's come all the way up. And I want you to stand with your feet maybe as wide as your mat. And then bent at the ankles, the knees. We're just going to have your arms down the side and gently move side to side. And you're breathing still. And then we're going to stop in the center, take the hands to the outside of the thighs. Inhale, body up, exhale, slide down your leg. And then inhale up, alternate sides. If you want to start extending that outside elbow up towards the sky, you can do that. Or if you want to extend that arm all the way, and that feels good in your body, you can do that. You also may start to bring your vision towards that extended arm. And if you want a wider stance, you can also turn on your mat and have your legs wider if that sounds more inviting. So whenever you finish that second side, we have our feet a little bit wide. We're going to take the arms out to the side. I'm going to invite you to make some noise with me if you want. We're going to inhale in this 5-pointed star. To exhale, I just want you to let everything go. Not everything, but by your breath, any tension you're feeling. So I'll model for you. Yes, just like that. We'll do that a couple more times. It's like one of my favorite things to do. One more time. Beautiful. Now we're going to step the hands and the feet together. And then possibly you're going to interlace your hands and press up towards the ceiling. Some of you will keep your hands pressing in towards the center. You're going to do what feels good. Okay? So here we are, we're pressing up towards the sky. You're going to feel your feet on the ground, so you're grounded through both feet. Inhale, you're going to reach over to the side. Exhale, back to the center. We're going to alternate sides. Now, next time you finish that second side, we're going to come to the center. And we're going to bring those hands down to shoulder height. And again, you're still pushing away. And you're breathing. And this time we're going to inhale, reach up towards the sky, exhale down into a mini chair. Inhale. No, we're inhaling here, exhaling down. Woo-hoo. The brain is still working. Just parts are missing. Now next time you finish, we're going to shake out those arms. And I want you to interlace your fingers this way. This time we're just going to roll through the wrists a couple times in each direction. All right. And shake them out. Is everybody's arms okay? I was like, I think we're doing too many arms. All right, so here, I want you to either interlace your fingers behind you, or if you have a really long strap and you're doing that, you're going to fold it in half, or you're going to take the strap behind you about shoulder distance apart. And we're going to inhale those arms up, away from the body. So if your hands are interlaced and they don't move from your body, definitely grab the strap. Inhale up, exhale down. One more time. Now we're going to inhale body up, exhale into your forward bend. Then you're going to inhale those hands away from your back body. And then we're going to reach over to the left, inhale center, reach the arms over to the right. Next time you come to the center, exhale those hands to the low back, press down with your feet. Inhale, body come up. We're going to let go of that strap. And we're going to make our way down towards the ground into a squat. So I'll model some different things that you could do. You could have your butt against the wall and come into a squat this way. You could be in a high squat. You could come down onto your block. You can have a little roll under your heels, but I want you to come down into some sort of squat that is comfortable for your body, because we're gonna stay for a couple breaths. If your heels are up, you might take that blanket and just put it under the heels so that you can weight your feet evenly. And then we're gonna take the hands to the forehead or the heart center, a little rounded back, chin gently towards the chest. I think letting go is one of my themes today, because then I'm like, let it all roll off your back, down into the ground. Long, smooth breaths. Now, in your own time, when you're ready, we're going to come all the way down to the ground. And we're going to, so you're going to start with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. Just throw blocks at me. We're going to take your left heel and put it towards your right hip. Okay? And then we're going to take that right leg and you're going to place the top of your right foot on the outside of your left ankle. Does that make sense? Right? And so most of us are kind of tilted over, right? You're going to use your hands to come around your left side and start to walk your hands and your body to the left so you can feel your chest starting to open, and you're pressing your fingertips into the ground to help lengthen the spine and open up the chest. There's more to this pose, but I think we're going to stay here today because it's feeling really good. Now, you're still breathing. You might decide as we're here that you want to walk your hands further around or to bring your head over the shoulder. But it's an exploration. You're doing what works for you. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk back to the center. We're going to uncross our ankles, point those knees up towards the sky. And then you're going to take that right heel towards your left buttock. Bend that left knee, and remember the right foot comes above the left ankle. We're a little ski-wampus. We're going to try to straighten ourselves out and put the hands on the ground. You could have blocks under your hands too. And you're going to start to walk your hands over to the right as you're gently moving your chest. How's that feeling on the backs, I'm wondering? Not good. So don't do it. That's a great modification. Okay, so again, you're breathing. You might walk your hands a little bit further to the back, or even start to turn your head. And when you start to feel complete, we're going to make our way back to the center. We're going to uncross the legs, stretch them out. We're going to make our way down onto our bellies. Okay, so I want you to think about what's the easiest, safest way for you to get on your belly. You probably want to be looking this way so you're not watching through the mirror. Now, we're going to be on our belly. We're going to have our hands in line with our chest, your face towards the ground, your legs extended. And at first, what I want you to do with your breath, you're going to inhale, lift the hands, lift your head and shoulders. Maybe your chest comes off the ground. Exhale towards the ground. Slow, thoughtful movement with your breath. We're not using our hands to push us up because the hands are coming off the ground. Now, next time you come down, you could take your arms in front and rest your forehead on them or whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to work on the legs. So here, you're either going to keep your legs straight and lift them up off the ground, inhale up, exhale down, or you're going to bend your knees and flex your feet. Okay, inhale is coming up, exhale coming down. So either legs straight or knees bent, inhale up, exhale down. And this is actually one of my favorite things to do, especially with the bent knees, for helping to strengthen the core and the back in a nice, safe way. Now, next time your feet come down, we're going to bring the hands back in line with the chest. And we're going to put those two movements together. So you're going to inhale, lift your upper body, hands and head, and bend your knees or straighten your legs and lift them. Inhale is up towards the sky. Exhale down towards the ground. One more time. And when you come towards the ground this time, we're going to walk your forearms forward. So we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So your elbows are about as wide as your shoulders, hands on the ground. We're going to pull those forearms towards our body, invite your sternum, your heart center forward. See if you can keep your shoulders relaxed away from your ears. And notice, like, can you feel your diaphragm here, right? Is your butt all tight? If your butt's all tight, like wiggle it a little bit, try to soften your butt. And just long, smooth breaths. Now we're going to look over each shoulder. So you're going to inhale, center, exhale as you twist your head towards the shoulder. Inhale back to the center, second side. So when we do this in Cobra, they call it drunken Cobra. So I guess this would be like drunken Sphinx.
Really name that.
Yoga doesn't have to be serious all the time. Okay, now we're going to come down. Next time your head is to the center, you're going to come down to the ground. And again, you can have your forehead on your hands or however it's comfortable. We're going to bend both knees. And so your heels are kind of coming towards your butt. And we're going to reach back with the right hand and take your right heel towards your butt. And then we're going to straighten out that left leg. We're going to straighten out the left arm. And some of you are just going to stay here. Some of you are going to lift up your left arm and leg and press the right ankle or foot into your hand. Do what is appropriate for you. You're still breathing. On an exhale, we'll come down to the ground, bend that left elbow and put your forehead on it. Bring in the right arm, gently take that right foot to the ground. Then we're going to bend at the left knee and reach back with your left hand. And at first, we're just taking that heel towards your buttock in whatever way feels good for you. And if your hand doesn't come to your foot, feel free to use a strap here. Never forcing. Now we're going to extend that right arm because your right leg's already straight. Some of you are going to stay here and relax. Some of you are going to lift that right arm and leg and press your left foot or ankle into the hand. Keep breathing. Breathe. And then when you're ready with the exhale, we're going to come towards the ground. Bring in your forearms. Gently place your foot on the ground. We're going to move the hips from side to side. And then we're going to bend both knees. And very slowly, just move your feet side to side. And we'll stop someplace in the middle, gently put those feet on the floor. We're going to make our way. So what's the safest, easiest way for you to get yourself onto your back? And then I want you to get there.
Turned around?
However, I'll try to give you enough explanation that you don't even need to look at me. Now, here we are, we're on our backs. Let's bend those knees and have your feet about hip width apart. And I want you to, before we do anything else, I just want you to feel the parts of your body touching the floor. Finish breathing and noticing where you connect with the earth. And you're also, checking in with your breath and your body. Now we're gonna put together a couple of different moves. So the inhale, possibly, you'll lift your hips and your chest and your left arm, and you'll turn your head away from that arm. Exhale, arm comes down, head back to the center, hips come to the ground. Alternating sides. Inhale, right arm up, hips and chest, head turns to the left. Exhale, back to the center. And if any part of that doesn't work for you, you're going to do the parts that do. So if you just want to lift your hips, or if you just want to do the arms, any of it is okay. Now, next time you finish that second side, we're going to pause in the center for a moment. And now, on the inhale, we're going to lift the hips, the chest, and both arms up overhead. Exhale, you're going to take the hips down, lift the arms, and you're going to bring them onto the front of the knees and take those knees towards your chest. Next, inhale, you're going to reach your arms overhead, take the legs up towards the sky. Exhale, knees to the chest, hold on to the front of the knees. This is the big transition. Inhale, feet come down to the ground, arms overhead, and lift up your hips and your chest. Exhale, hips down, arms come to the front of the knees, and bring those knees towards your chest. Next, inhale, legs up towards the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, knees into the chest. And last time, inhale, feet down, arms overhead, lift up the hips and the chest. Exhale, hips down, arms reach for the front of the knees, push those knees in towards your chest. Inhale, arms overhead, legs towards the sky. And exhale, knees into the chest. And you can hold on to your knees, you can move in a circle, you can not move at all, do whatever is most comfortable in your body. And when you feel done with that, we'll take the feet to the ground one at a time. We're going to roll over to the side, and you're going to find a bolster or a blanket, depending on how you want to do this. We're going to make a little roll. So if you have a blanket, you're going to start in this position and you're going to make a little roll. There's so many ways that we can do this pose. So I'll give you a couple. You could also have a bolster here. Cordelia, would you grab me a bolster? Thank you. And you could have a bolster elevated with a block, and I'll model that in just a second. Thank you so much. So rolled blanket in the center of your mat, or bolster with a block about 2/3 the way up. You can also do it with bolster down. The idea here is we're going to open up our chest. I want to do a blanket today. Does anybody want this bolster? Okay. So whatever you're using, you're going to put that in the center of your mat. You're going to let it be right in the center of your body. And then you want to make sure that there's, whatever you're using, that there's no space between your low back and whatever prop you're using. And that your head is completely supported. And then your legs are in whatever position feel good. Your knees can be bent, legs straight. You can be in like bound angle where your feet are together and the knees open out to the side. Our focus in this moment is to relax the shoulders and start to gently soften the heart center, so your chest. And so as you're here, I invite you to notice any sensations any sensations you feel anywhere in your body, but bringing your attention, your awareness to your heart center. You know, when I say the word softening the heart, you know, notice what things pop into your head. Like, do you picture your actual heart getting soft, or is it something else? And letting your shoulders be heavy, giving into gravity just a little bit more. And the color of the heart chakra is generally green, depending on what system you look at. And so imagining that there's kind of like the green of fresh new grass when it's coming up. So imagining as you're breathing in that green, as pictured as a green light possibly, starting to glow more brightly with each inhale. And if any of the imagery I offer you doesn't work for you, just let it go. Now from here, you can stay in this position if it's extremely comfortable for you. You can start to transition into a different position for Shavasana, where we just allow ourselves to be held for a period of time, where we move to a quiet place. If you find your mind wandering, you might just follow your breath, inhale and exhale. So when you're ready, if you're ready, take a moment to notice how your breath is moving, how your body feels, asking your body if it wants to start to gently reawaken and come up to a seated position to do a short breathing and focus practice, or if it wants to stay on the ground. And so if you are wanting to do the breathing practice, we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing, nadi shalom. And so we'll take, I like to use the thumb of my right hand to close my right nostril, but you're going to do what works for you. We're going to breathe in through the left, close the left, breathe out through the right, breathe in through the right, and then out through the left. So that's one round. We're going to do a few more rounds, moving at your own pace, breathing in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, and out through the left. Now, if you're congested or something like that, it's okay to imagine, and even if you're laying down and you want to do this, you can imagine breathing in through the left and out the right, through the whole cycle. And when we do a breathing practice, we don't want to feel any discomfort in our mind or our body, so if it's at all uncomfortable, you just release your hand and breathe normally. Now, whenever you complete your next round, when you breathe out through the left nostril, releasing your hand, if your eyes are closed, just keeping them closed. And I want you to take one breath in and notice where you feel sensation in your nose. And then you're going to take a couple more breaths with your focus on that one spot. And if your brain wants you to change to a different spot, you're just going to stick with that initial spot that you noticed on that first inhale. And you're just noticing sensation, temperature, moisture, dryness, whatever you feel. Notice the difference between inhale and exhale on that one spot. Now would be a good time to bring your awareness back to the room, letting go of that spot in your nose. And just taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for showing up and doing a practice, because really the first step is showing up for ourselves, right? Whatever that looks like. And then I'm going to invite you to join me in making some sound if you want, a little bit different than we did before. So we're going to inhale the arms up towards the sky, exhale the sound hue as you move your hands to the heart. Inhaling the arms out to the sides with the palms open, exhaling the sound ah to the heart. Ah. Inhaling, sweeping all around you and up from the earth, the sound om to your heart. So I thank you all in person and those online past and present and acknowledge the lands that I live and walk upon. So thank you so much. Namaste.